What is up, Davison? This is DTV Podcast with no name. I'm Tyler Updegraff. Will be your host tonight. I am blessed with the presence with Randall W. Scott III.
Oh, yeah. How
on
we
a
doing?
podcast. Then I got Connor Ethan Harris.
Yeah.
You know, full names here, so I guess I'll throw mine out, Tyler Lloyd Updegraff. So we got that going. But big matchup tonight. Oklahoma City Thunder versus versus the Detroit Pistons. I don't know. I said the Spurs. We were just talking about the Spurs, so it came to my head. But Pistons and Thunder tonight. It's gonna be a big game because these are two top teams. You're looking at the East. Pistons are number one. Looking at the West, the Thunder's number one. A lot of people say a lot of talent on the West. You know, say the West is better. Say the East are bums. And the minute whoever comes out of the East is going to get completely dominated by whoever's in the West in the finals. But, I mean, you talk about a team like the last year's finals, like the Thunder and the Pacers. The Pacers played fantastic. And if Halliburton doesn't go down in that game, who knows what that series would have been. And the Pacers really could have come out with a championship there. And so East versus West, I think the Pistons have a real chance of making it out and against the Thunder. And this is a matchup that might be a NBA Finals matchup in the future. So what is your guys' thoughts on the game tonight?
Connor, you want to start?
You know, especially with how injured the OKC is tonight, without Jalen and then without Shea, you know, that is going to definitely take a toll on their gameplay in general. You know, you have your main setup. You have your point guard, the person who runs all the plays mainly and is comfortable with the team and can organize the team in a very successful way. You have him out, and then you also have Jalen, who also very much so assists Shea a lot, and it's gonna probably be a struggle. And then possibly we have Chet out too.
Yeah, he's day-to-day right now, I think. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be especially if Chet's out, they're definitely going to be struggling throughout this match, especially with a full, healthy Pistons roster.
Yeah, and Randy, what's your thoughts on the game coming in? Where are you standing?
Well, I think it's always exciting when you got the two top teams playing each other. You know what I mean? That always gets you fired up, right? Gets the juices flowing. You're ready to go. But it's always difficult in the NBA because so many players miss time, right? And so we're not going to get the true meaning of this game with Shea out. You know what I'm saying? And Williams out and stuff like that. So you're not going to get the full feel of it. I mean, you're going to get some ideas. You know what I mean? But really, the NBA, it's all about them playoffs, right? And what we're going to have if this happens in the finals, it'll be an incredible finals, I think. But there's a lot of things are going to happen between now and then to see what happens here. But we'll have the proven versus the unproven, right? And the Pistons thrive on being the upcomers, you know, the new startup, right? And I think that makes the game more exciting. I think it's a bigger deal for the Pistons who are coming up than it is the Thunder who have already won it. You know, So I think this means more to the Pistons, but in the long run, it's a whole different game when Shea's in there. You know what I'm saying? It's just you can't take the MVP, the reigning MVP, out of the game and expect it to feel the same. You know, so it's exciting. I love the Pistons. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna be on it, but it's just you gotta temper your expectations for a regular season NBA game.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like we've seen the Pistons when they want something, and like. For example, how they want New York, how much they want New York. Every time they've matched up with New York, they take that game seriously. They don't give up, and they've blown them out every single game they've played them in for the past 3 games.
At least 10.
15, 30, and 38. And that's look being the New York Knicks, being like a contending team where you're supposed to be. Where a lot of people I saw a lot online, is people saying that they might make it out the East. Now you look at them and you say, okay, I could see them beating a Cleveland. I could see them beating a Boston, but can you see them beating Detroit when they lose this many times? And that comes back to their series before in the playoffs, which, again, the Pistons, uprising team, they only had one good year of playoffs because last year was the first time they've been in the playoffs since 2019. And it was their first win since 2009. So they really haven't had much experience. The squad's very young, but Cade's playing fantastic. He did have a worse game against the Spurs. And really that game about the Spurs, Randy, could you elaborate just what happened in that game for us?
I'm going to give you one thing that happened. His name is Wemby. He changed that whole game. And we're talking about a generational player, and it was on display early. No, he didn't score a ton. I had a friend tell me earlier, he was like, "Oh, we shut Wimby down. He had I'm like, "No, you didn't. He controlled that whole game from the very beginning. The first 5 minutes of the game, I asked you to go back and watch that. Wimby blocked or changed every shot, I think, that the Pistons took in the paint, right? And it forced us into bad shot after bad shot all night long. I would say just Wimby himself had a 30-point swing on that game when you look at how many buckets he erased or made him change. It was amazing. And that would be a harder matchup for us in the finals, I think, against San Antonio than the Thunder. If we make it that far, I think we score all of our points in the paint. You were saying this earlier. We score all of our points in the paint, and Wemby is a game changer in the paint. You got to change your whole thought process, and you saw that the Pistons actively doing that, shooting more threes, missing a lot of threes, changing the shots. I saw a couple of people hesitate. One time, I think it was Thompson, had a clear shot to the basket, and he just stopped and pulled up because he knew Wemby was lurking. And I don't blame him, right? That guy's going to block it, right? And he blocked about 5 shots. I was like, where did that come from? So, anyways, Wemby was the difference in that game, and he's a game changer, a once-in-a-generation athlete, and it was on display yesterday. He might have only had, he had less points or whatever, but his defense changed the game.
Yeah, and that's something that's, I feel, very underrated, like, online and public opinion is defense, because, like, you look at somebody like Luka, where you have people saying, oh, Luka's the greatest player in the league right now. But then he's so great offensively. He's, scoring, like, giving you 35 and 9. He's giving you 9 and 9, 9 dimes, 9 rebounds. Fantastic offensively. He's doing great. But then once he can hop on that defensive side, how well is he doing? And then you got to look at other players like Wemby, who maybe they're having worse games on the offensive side, but when they're affecting that much defensively, it's still a good game.
Yeah, I mean, and we had foul trouble right off the bat too.
Yeah, there was a lot of fouls.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Connor, where you at on this? What did you see about the Spurs game?
Cade ended up with 5 fouls, and like you said earlier, like you said, fouls are definitely a problem with this Pistons roster. They like to foul. They like to get that little break that fouls give, and especially when it becomes late game, they become a little bit more pushy, which that's what we saw during that game. And it's definitely, especially when it comes to Wemby, you get Wemby in the paint, he is bound to block a shot, that's just going to happen. And if you don't take care of how bad the fouls are and you accidentally foul out, like Cade, he was 1 foul away from getting kicked out of the game. Mm-hmm. Imagine without Cade.
Yeah, it's not good.
No leadership. We would have Dennis Jenkins in, which, I mean, Dennis is a good player. I will admit. He's a very good player, especially off the bench.
Yeah.
And I don't think, though, he can match the level of coordination that Cade can.
Yeah. He just doesn't have the scoring ability. He can score, but not like Cade, right? He's different, right?
Yeah.
Cade's a different animal. But no, I like that. And what you're saying about the foul stuff, I think some of the way we play and the depth that we have are going to be really great for the playoffs, right? Because we play a physical style. And we all know in the playoffs, they let a lot of stuff go. They're not calling it as tightly. You could get a little rougher with them. They're not going to call those bumps a lot. And so I think that bodes well for us in the playoffs. The fact that we show up to play every day, we play tough defense against everybody, and we're deep. So if we get into foul trouble, we got Duran, we got Stu when he's not suspended,
right? Sar.
Yeah, and not even just a Sar, but you got Paul Reed.
I was about to say Paul
We're
Reed.
3 deep on 7-footers, right?
I know, and
that's crazy.
Somebody like Paul Reed, and and every time you watch a Pistons broadcast and it's a Paul Reed night, they sit there and tell you, like, Paul, and during the Spurs game, they were talking about it on the television. They were like, listen, Paul Reed, they talked to him before, and he was like, listen, I'm prepared. J.B. Bickerstaff said that Paul Reed is the most prepared guy, whether he has to play 5 minutes, to play 30 minutes, to play 40. I mean, Paul Reed, I think, is just such a fantastic piece for the Pistons, because when you have someone like Stewart, who does, he gets in some trouble sometimes when you have a third string. a third string putting you up 22,
Yeah.
a third string center, and it's like, and he plays fantastic defense. Paul Reed is such a fantastic player, and I love to watch him. B-ball Paul, awesome.
Yeah, we got the pieces, right? We have the pieces, we have depth, and we have the physical style of play. We have our defense. Things are going to change for the playoffs, right? So even with the Knicks, right? We were talking about the Knicks, getting blown out 3 times already by the Pistons. Pistons bring their A game for that, right? I don't think the Knicks are bringing their A game yet. They will. You're going to see Cat flip a switch, hopefully for their sake. I hope he doesn't for the Pistons' sake, but you're going to see him play playoff basketball. And that's the one thing I wish the NBA had more of, was that intensity all the time. The Pistons do. The Pistons are one of the teams that they bring it pretty much every night, where other teams, they like to take days off. They'll rest their best players, or they just won't come at it. That last game against the Knicks, Cat didn't even get a gauge till the fourth quarter, I think. He was playing terrible, and part of that's on him, you know what I mean? And it's not on the Pistons, but when you get to the playoffs, it's different. And we got to remember, the Pistons have not won a playoff series. This team hasn't. This team has not won a playoff series. So we're talking about the finals. We're talking about the number 1 seed in the East. But they haven't won a playoff series yet. And that, until we do, that's something that's going to worry me. The Knicks have. The Knicks have won that. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. It's a different animal in the playoffs. I think we can. I think we're positioned well, and we're equipped well, and Cade's playing out of his mind, and he's got great support. But we still have to win. Until we win that first and second series, I don't really want to think about the finals, right? Let's get through those first. That's my thought process on the whole thing. This team, as good as they are, has never won a playoff series. That's something that's serious.
Yeah, and Pistons, they like you said, they hadn't won that playoff series. Now, am I going to get on here and get a little too Pistons fanatic about that playoff series? I'm gonna try not to. There's definitely a couple calls. I could mention Game 4 where that final shot. We were actually, where were we at? Was it MAB or was it MIPA? Or we were at, no, it was the Emmys. It was the Emmys. We were there. Everybody's standing outside. We're all watching on this little TV, and I watched Malik. I think Cade shot it, and Tobias Harris grabbed the rebound, kicked it out to the corner to Malik Beasley. Beasley shot it, got fouled by Josh Hart, no call, shot didn't go through, and a game ended, and that's what really swayed. I felt like at that point in the series, that's what really swayed, because I think that was home for us, not swayed the series.
Yeah. We lost all of our home games.
Yeah. And it was gosh, we lost all our home games. That is not something you wanted to. I mean, you went to the Garden, you split at the Garden, which is very good, because Madison Square Garden, the Knicks have just such a big fan base. It's so hard to get wins with that many people booing you. Sometimes, it would be tough on a person's mentals.
All right, Connor, is this what he's saying? Is he saying the refs blew that for the Pistons? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you could just come out and say it.
Okay, yeah, they did. Okay, listen. Even the ref said after the game, there was a little bit of contact on that. Him himself, the ref, I don't know what ref said it, but the guy that was next to them, he was like, listen, there was a little contact. I should have called that. Josh Hart, in a post-game interview, said there was contact. I don't know how that didn't get called. All I'm saying is we had a fair called series. The Pistons go on to play the Celtics. Now, how that series would have went, that's up for debates. But I think they would have won that playoff series if that was called perfectly fine. Now, can you get a perfect calling? No. But when there's a shot that you look back at it and you're like, that should have been reviewed or something, I don't know. I'm not pretty sure JB was livid that game after, because, everybody was, because it was a foul. He jumped up, hit his hand. Malik Beasley wouldn't have went to the line. I think they were down by 2. Malik Beasley, how good he was shooting. Would he have made all 3? Maybe not. Making 3 free throws straight, it's a little tough. Being an NBA player, you're able to do it. But would he at least made 2 and put it into OT? I think he would have done that.
All right. I got you. Connor, what do you think? You think it was a ref thing or something else?
I think it was a ref. I'm not going to lie. It was definitely close. It was a very close game, very very competitive. Both teams wanted to go far. And, it's just what comes down to what the ref is. And even replays kind of showed that it was a bad call.
Okay, that was definitely a bad call. No doubt about that, right? But I don't think that's why the Pistons lost. The fact was, and you can go back and look at this, as much as you hate him, and I know you hate him, Tyler.
I don't like him.
Brunson hit big shot after big shot after big shot. That was the difference in the games, right? And it was a close series, a great series, right? And it really, I think it's going to fuel the Pistons to better stuff. I really believe that, right? But the truth is, Brunson was just better than everybody on the court. At the clutch times, he made the shots, and I think that's the difference, right? Now, yeah, there was a bad call, but you're going to get those. But yeah, I think the big shots were the key. But I think Cade's ready to be better than Brunson this year. I really believe that.
I think Cade is a top 5 player in the league right now. I don't think that's the biggest debate in the world right now. I think he's a top 5.
I'm not going to argue it.
And
He's leading the whole league in assists.
I think Cade would definitely be up there in MVP debates.
I think he should be higher. I think he should be talked about a lot higher.
I think he should be like 2.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who's, I mean, he's got good teammates, but there's no second tier guy, right?
Yeah, like you go like at teams, for example, Thunder, you got Shea, and then you could go to Jalen Williams, you could go to Chet Holmgren, guys like that. But you look at the Pistons, JD's a good second option, and he's an all-star. He's fantastic, but is he like that scoring, giving you like 20 a night kind of guy?
No, he can. Really. He can get that on any night, but it's not like you call a play for Jalen Duren. Occasionally they will. They're starting to work more into him. But Jalen Duren's the oop and the rebound guy, and he's great at it. And I hope he develops this game more so you can call more plays for him. But yeah, he's not a true option. If Cade's not on the floor, it's hard to find a guy to unless Tobias is a mismatch, it's hard to find a guy, that can just be our number one scorer when Cade's not on the floor, where Oklahoma has 3 options for that, right? And so that's why they are the champs, right? So we gotta find a way to do that, and we're gonna have to come up with a different formula, I think, to do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like Cade, he just plays so fantastic on both sides of the floor, which is why I would have Cade and MVP over like somebody like Luka, somebody over Jokic, because Jokic plays great defense and Jokic is great on both sides, but I think he might be past the game amount that he's played that he's missed, because there's a certain amount of games you miss.
He's good. He's still good. They brought him back in time, so right now he's
really?
good. But if he misses any more, it's a question. Yeah,
he put up 35 in one night.
Jokic is ridiculous.
Jokic is fantastic.
But I got to tell you this: his defense ain't as good as you think.
It's not.
I watch a lot of Denver basketball. He's a great player, and in the playoffs, he's more engaged defensively too. He's a great, unbelievable player. He's my favorite player in the league right now. But his defense has some serious holes in it because, he's a big guy out there, and he on switches he drops and gives them a lot of options. So, I mean, they do good covering for him at times, but he carries that team in so many other ways that it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I watch his defense a little closer. Not so good.
Even in interviews, he's not really focused on basketball. Like that's not his main thing. Like he cares more about his horses than he cares about basketball, and he said that.
Yeah.
Like straight up, he said that, and that's so shocking that a player that can be that big of a role for a whole team doesn't really even he could care about something else more than it. It's not like it's not his true focus, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's different, but it's okay because I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you ever watch him, there's no question when he's out there, he's locked in, he's focused. There's never a time where I've seen him out there and be like, oh, he's thinking about horses. No, he's out there, he's fighting for his team, he's doing it, right? And I think that's where we got to give people a little bit of break. We expect everyone just to be like Kobe, basketball all the time, Jordan, basketball all the time. These guys have lives, they have things, and I think he's well adjusted, and I really love just watching everything about him. And yeah, he's got other things he cares about in life, which he should, but when he's on that court, you best believe you're getting the best, and you are. And I would never question him like his effort or anything like that. He just does have other interests, right? And when he won that championship, he was like, all right, I'm ready to go home. That's cool, right? You did your job. Go home. It's okay. But I get it where people want to see him live in every minute of it. But no, he does his thing, he's just incredible. I don't know.
Yeah, Jokic is very, very good. And like Cade's been playing so fantastic. And not even the amount of points that he's been scoring because he's putting up 25, but amount he's he's creating with his assists, the amount of points he's putting up with that, and just his gravity that he has. Cade's just so good for Detroit, and I mean he's really developed, you know. And like looking at him, it's like he was the best choice there. And I know there was a couple like maybe we should have took Jalen Green like earlier. I remember hearing a person talking to me. I got a buddy Van. He was like, "Dude, maybe we should have took Jalen Green or somebody else." He loves Jalen Green,
Right.
so I mean it's a little biased. I won't lie to you, but he's like, "Man, we should have took Jalen Green. We should have took somebody else." But then you look at Cade now, and you're like, he was best fit. I don't think there's a player you could put in Cade's position that would have the same impact.
Now there was a point where you're like, you know, I need him to do more. But, like, you got to give these guys time to develop. And he's developed better than anybody else in that class, I think. You know, you can see he's bulked up his size. He's more aggressive. He's smarter with the ball and the shots. You know what I mean? Like, Cade, if he's not the MVP, I don't know. I mean, I love Joker. I love SGA. But Cade took this team from, I mean, it was 14 wins 2 years ago. And now you're looking at the number 1 seed?
With 14 losses.
Thank you. Right?
14 losses.
That sounds like an MVP to me. I'm just going to throw that out there. I mean, he's incredible, right?
Yeah, and I mean, other people on the Pistons squads, like big leaps from guys. One person, and me and Connor have talked about it. We're really sad, and I don't know why we made that trade, but with Jaden Ivey, we really aren't playing Kevin Huerter much. So I don't know. One of the biggest things is like I still don't see why we made that trade. When I first looked at it, and I was like, and I saw those analysts getting in. Maybe the Pistons are moving Jaden Ivey to free up his contract for the next year, and they're getting Kevin Huerter to take on a lighter contract and maybe go sign a big player, maybe go trade for a big player. And I was like, okay, but we didn't do that at the trade deadline. We just got Kevin Huerter, and we sent away Jaden Ivey. So then now we did get that Timberwolves pick, and it won't be the greatest thing in the world, but we did get it. So that's I mean, first round pick's a first round pick. It'll be late, but I mean, this draft class is supposed to be pretty good, so maybe we'll find a good sleeper that'll be a solid role player for us. But I just like somebody like Jaden Ivey. He was playing great before his injury. He came back. He wasn't the same, and now I don't think we gave him enough time to see what he could have done. Like I would have loved, and this is what I told Connor. I said I would have loved to see Ivy go, and we have him play in the playoffs, and then we see how we feel about him.
Yeah, I could see that, but the trade deadline comes up, and I think Ivy just didn't have a role here. You know, you were a big Ivy fan, weren't you, Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
You know, I'm kind of happy for him. You know, like after that injury, you know, we got Duncan, and Duncan's been filling that spot perfectly. You know, like he's really good out of the ring, and he's just overall a really good player. You know, I am gonna miss how Ivy was playing for Detroit, yeah, but after that trade, he moved to a bigger role. He's a starter now on the Bulls. You know, like he's not a bench warmer anymore for Duncan. You know, he went to the Bulls, got a bigger role, and now is, you know, just trying.
Yeah, I think the last few games he's been coaches did not play decision, right? Or yeah, so I think they have been sitting him now. I think for the most part, the Huerter trade was to get us some more shooting, and we took a chance on it. I think it was also a chance to give Ivy a fresh start. He just didn't have any room here. There's no room for him here, you know, and I hope he does land somewhere. I do like him, but at some point as a team, you got to move on, you know, and I think they moved on thinking Huerter might be a weapon, you know, in the playoffs. We could bring him in to shoot or something, but, you know, he hasn't proven that yet, and we haven't found a way to fit him in. It's hard to do that in the middle of the year, you know what I mean? So the trade could be a wash and not really factor in for both teams, but, you know, of the two players, I think Ivy would have a better shot at the Bulls, you know, because they're still building it. They're trading pieces away to try to build it again, where Pistons are in it, you know, and so when you're in it, you know, and so I'm not sure there's going to be much room for him, but we can use more shooting. I just don't know if he's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us, Davis, and that's our thoughts on Pistons and Thunder. We have love for you to tune in. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a fantastic night. Go Detroit. Hoping for that Cade Cunningham MVP. He's playing great. We're hoping to go on a nice win streak. If we do beat the Thunder tonight, that's going to put us decently. We're going to put us up one game again. So that's going to be pretty good for the first seed overall. So that's going to be pretty nice. Have a fantastic night.
Go Pistons.